7 years later. The clink of wine glasses and the hum of laughter filled the upscale restaurant, but my pulse thundered louder than the ambience when I saw her. Across the dimly lit room, framed by the flicker of candlelight, sat my ex-wife, Elise, her auburn hair catching the glow like a signal flare. 7 years had passed since our divorce, yet the sight of her, poised, radiant, laughing with a man I didn't recognize, clawed at my chest. I froze mid-step, my date's hand slipping from mine as I stared, caught in a riptide of memory and something sharper, something raw. Then Elise turned, her eyes locking onto mine, and her first words sliced through the air like a blade. "You shouldn't be here, Daniel." The restaurant's warmth turned suffocating. My mouth went dry, the taste of bile rising as her words echoed. "Shouldn't be here." The audacity of it stung, but her voice carried something else. Panic, maybe guilt. I forced a smile for my date, Lauren, who frowned, sensing the shift in me. "Old friend," I muttered, guiding her to our table, my mind already spiraling. Why was Elise so rattled? And who was the man leaning too close, his hand brushing hers with a familiarity that made my stomach twist? We'd been divorced for years, but the wound of her betrayal still festered. I'd found the texts back then, late-night messages to someone named Jay, cryptic but intimate, laced with a warmth she hadn't shown me in months. When I confronted her, she'd denied everything, her tears so convincing I almost believed her. Almost. The divorce was brutal, not because of lawyers or assets, but because I'd loved her so fiercely I couldn't fathom her lies. Now, seeing her with this stranger, the old doubts roared back. Was this Jay? Had she been cheating even longer than I'd suspected? I tried to focus on Lauren, her soft voice recounting her day, but my eyes kept drifting to Elise's table. The man's laugh was too loud, his gestures too possessive. Elise's smile was tight, her glances darting toward me every few minutes. Was she afraid I'd make a scene? Or was there something more? My fingers tightened around my fork, the metal cool against my palm, grounding me as my thoughts churned. I remembered the late nights she'd claimed were work, the perfume on her scarf that wasn't hers, the way she'd flinch when I asked about her day. Small things I'd brushed off, too in love to see the cracks. "Danny, you okay?" Lauren's voice pulled me back. Her brow furrowed, her hand hovering over mine. I nodded, forcing a laugh, but my chest ached with the weight of questions I'd buried years ago. I wanted to storm over, demand answers, but what would that solve? Instead, I watched. The man paid their bill, his hand lingering on Elise's waist as they stood. She stiffened, barely, but I saw it. A flicker of unease crossed her face, and for a moment, I wondered if she was trapped in something, not just flaunting a new lover. As they left, Elise's eyes met mine again, and this time, there was no mistaking the fear in them. Not guilt, not defiance, fear. My heart stuttered. I excused myself to Lauren, mumbling about the restroom, and followed them outside. The night air was crisp, the city's pulse thrumming through honking cabs and distant sirens. Elise and the man stood near a sleek black car, their voices low but heated. I stayed in the shadows, close enough to hear fragments. "Can't keep doing this," Elise hissed, her voice trembling. "He'll find out." "He won't," the man said, his tone sharp, commanding. "You owe me, Elise. Don't forget that." My blood ran cold. Owe him? For what? I stepped closer, the gravel crunching under my shoe, and they both froze. Elise's face paled as she spotted me, her lips parting in a silent gasp. The man turned, his eyes narrowing, assessing me like a threat. He was older than I'd thought, his features sharp, almost predatory. "Problem?" he asked, his voice smooth but laced with menace. "Daniel, go," Elise said, her voice barely a whisper. "Please." But I couldn't. Not when her fear was so palpable, not when the pieces of our past were clicking into place. "Who is he, Elise?" I demanded, my voice low, shaking with years of pent-up hurt. "Is this Jay? The one you swore didn't exist?" Her eyes widened, and for a moment, I saw the old Elise, the one who'd loved me, who'd cried when I proposed, who'd promised forever. Then it was gone, replaced by a mask of resignation. "You don't understand," she said, her voice breaking. "You never did." The man stepped between us, his hand on her arm, possessive. "Time to go," he said, pulling her toward the car. But Elise yanked free, her eyes locked on mine, and in that moment, I saw it, not just betrayal, but desperation. She wasn't just cheating, she was in over her head. "Tell me," I said, stepping closer, ignoring the man's glare. "What's going on? What does he have on you?" She laughed, a brittle, hollow sound. "You think you can save me, Daniel? You couldn't even save us." Her words hit like a punch, but I pressed on. "I deserve the truth. After everything." She hesitated, glancing at the man, who was now watching her like a hawk. Then, in a rush, she spoke, her voice low and urgent. "It wasn't just an affair. It was a debt. My brother, his gambling. I covered for him, got in too deep. This," she gestured to the man, "was the price." The world tilted. Her brother, Mark, had always been trouble, but I'd never imagined this. "You lied to me," I said, my voice raw. "You let me think." "I didn't want you to hate me," she whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I thought I could fix it, but it never stopped." The man grabbed her arm again, harder this time. "Enough," he snapped, pulling her toward the car. Instinct surged, and I lunged forward, grabbing his wrist. "Let her go," I growled. He smirked, unfazed, but Elise's scream cut through the night. "Daniel, don't. He's dangerous." Before I could react, he shoved me back, hard, and I stumbled into the street. Tires screeched, headlights blinding me as a car swerved to avoid me. When I scrambled to my feet, they were gone, the black car vanishing into the city's pulse. I stood there, heart pounding, the truth sinking in like poison. Elise hadn't just cheated, she'd been ensnared, her betrayal a desperate act to protect someone else. And I'd failed her, too blind with hurt to see her fear. Back inside, Lauren was waiting, her eyes wide with worry, but I couldn't explain. Not yet. As I drove home, the city lights blurred, my mind replaying Elise's words, her fear, her tears. I'd thought our story ended 7 years ago, but it hadn't. It was still unraveling, and now, I had to find her, before the man who owned her debts destroyed what was left of her. Or me.